The views and opinions expressed in Media Litter Sandwich do not reflect on the views of the network, station, studio, website, sponsors, guests, hosts themselves, anyone or anything else associated or even not associated with this podcast. Maybe not even the person that said them. In other words, do your own research and do not sue anyone over what is said on this show.
Fake laughter, yeah.
Welcome to Media Litter Sandwich. Some podcast, someplace in downtown Detroit, where we're recording at the Foundation Hotel in the beautiful Foundation Studio, looking right at the TCF Center, formerly known as Cobo Hall, as random people walk in front of us, but you can't see it. And the video version is different than the video version. And of course, if someone is sharing this to you, keep in mind we're on a lot of pod apps. I just found out like 3 more that we're on. So yeah, you can listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, Podomatic now, iHeartRadio now. That was one that I didn't think I'd ever get on.
Yeah.
And of course, there's YouTube for the video and the websites, Toaden.com, MediaLitterSandwich.com. But the first place to hear us on, if you want to be the first person to listen, the show streams every Tuesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. That's 1900 because it is a veteran-owned and ran radio station, dbradio.net, and I am in the chat room. So hello, Toaden in the chat room.
Check it out.
So today I got Logan Law with me, audio engineer, musician, and I'm sure you're a few other things, but we're mostly talking about your music today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This is going to be really awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
I need a lot of help on Spotify because I just know my podcast is on it now, and I know you just like uploaded a ton of stuff on Spotify.
Yeah, my whole catalog is on Spotify. We did the 4-song EP. I believe it was 4 songs. That was kind of like my debut for like the lo-fi stuff. I did that on Squad Records. So we released that on Spotify. Got a really good response, and then I actually released like all my backlog stuff. Some stuff that's a little bit more psychedelic. Some stuff that's just kind of like a 45-minute all original like house music mix. And then I have a newer, well, it's from May now, but a newer like single that's a little bit more hip hop. It still has that like chiller lo-fi vibes to it as well, called Sippin', and that was on Squad as well. So yeah.
It's interesting because you're like, oh yeah, I got some hip hop, I got some psychedelic stuff. Then you look into your band stuff where you have like math rock and like class like. Just all over the place.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between bands right now. My old band, shout out to the boys at Just Plurals. They're amazing. I'm not swearing. It's really hard for me not to swear because I am a sailor. Okay. But yeah, the boys from Just Plurals, they're still doing stuff. I'm just not the drummer anymore, which is awesome. Still some great guys, great music, great friends in that band. I've been in like some blues projects. I've been kind of starting like a metal project right now too on the side. So, I mean, the production's definitely probably like my first and foremost because it is the easiest because it's just me too to like get stuff out there and do all that. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing.
And you mix most of your own stuff.
Oh, I mix all my own stuff. I don't master it. I think that for me personally, I know a lot of people like to mix and master their own stuff. For me personally, I get too close to the mixes and I just want somebody else to like handle the mastering because they have a less bias approach than I do because they don't have as much as they have the investment to make it sound good, they don't have the investment of just like, I don't know, the emotional attachment that I might have to those songs or, the just things that I'm impartial to.
For those that are dummies like me that don't know, what's the difference between mixing and mastering?
Mixing would be just like making the song sound good, equalizing each individual track so it really does meld together well. And then basically from there, you're going to bounce that out to one track individually. Okay. And then you're going to kind of repeat the process to then make it louder for radio. Everything's very loud today. So making it louder and just kind of giving it that glue to like really solidify it as like a a song that is absolutely complete.
Okay. All right. So it's just like in GarageBand where it says, master down to one track. That's
Yes.
what they're doing. They're trying to figure out how all the pieces fit, which are each pretty much done.
Yeah. Yeah, it's similar for sure. Yeah. It's cool.
Master.
Yeah. Master of Puppets is pulling your strings. Hell yeah.
Video
Metallica.
version. Video version is a little bit different.
I like
Today I have a couple bumper stickers on the table from Say Nice Things About Detroit. I've heard the saying before, but I actually met Emily who started this thing, and hopefully we'll have her on the show at some point. I didn't know that it was actually like a one person starting the thing. It was really cool meeting her. I guess she does some golf podcasts and hosted something on ESPN, and more about that at another time. Just you never know who you're going to meet down in Detroit.
Super nice lady though. I met her in the bar and she's awesome.
Yeah, very rarely do I meet somebody and I'm leaving. I'm like, hey, can I give you a hug? I mean, just an absolute wonderful person. And now it's time to talk about wonderful music.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you kind of notice a difference. You know what songs you're promoting by watching how many listens they get.
Yeah, I definitely try to keep a log on the Spotify, the Spotify artist app and all that, and it's fun to watch different stuff. I definitely think where I've gotten the most traction personally, and not to say like I'm like doing like the best. I think the most I've gotten is like 1,100 listeners in 1 month, which for me that's the best I've ever done in music. I mean, that's amazing to me. Obviously there's people getting millions and millions of listeners every month, and that's not where I'm at yet, but I would like to get there. But you can kind of follow, what songs are doing well and stuff. And the biggest thing for me has just been getting on like curated playlists by people.
Okay.
There's a lot of like even, on Instagram, there's pages for lo-fi music that are reposting different songs and different like edits and stuff, and they'll make Spotify playlists. I'm actually wearing the shirt right now for Lo-Fi Nights. That's lo-fi.nights, Nites. Yes, Nites. On Instagram, and she kind of caught me early and was like, hey, I really like your stuff. I'm gonna do some reposts for you and put you on the playlist. And like, I mean, just those songs on those playlists definitely have driven my stuff quite a bit. So it's amazing to find those people that really do believe in you in an early stage and give you those opportunities to like get your stuff out there to, some of these have, 40,000 followers
and she reached
stuff.
out to you. So now do you reach out to other people that make the curated playlists?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'm definitely like, trying to put myself out there and stuff. And then some people just reach out to me. Some people find it through, hey, I found you through Lo-Fi Nights and I want to put you on this. And some people don't even ask. They just put me on there. And like that's cool too. Like whatever.
It's like, just let me know so I can give you a shout out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. If I knew, I would promote it more. But I mean, at the same time, people just, a lot of them are personal curated playlists for like just themselves. And it's like people that, maybe they aren't getting a lot of, but like,
and maybe they don't want to talk to you.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm just trying to make music and make music that people can jam to, or is gonna, whatever, however they want to vibe to it. If they want to be sad to it, or be happy, or just relax, or if you want it to put you to sleep, like that's cool. I'm all about it.
I used to, and I don't really talk about this much because it was a very long time ago, but I used to write poetry that would get put out in weird anthologies and random places, and we're talking 20 years ago. I was still in high school when I was doing this. So really early days of the internet. And people, I got posted in a couple newspapers and stuff, and people were like, oh wow, this was really personal. Who died? And like, that's, you know what? You interpret it how you want. How dare I interpretate this in a different way? Especially because they interpret it weird because of some weird editor's thing. Yeah. Which was always the worst.
Yeah, they're going to
Why is there 3 sentences missing?
Yeah.
It's like, you interpret it as you want.
Totally. Totally.
And, oh man.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I just make the music. You're the one who's gonna feel however you're gonna feel from the music that I make. You know, at the end of the day, and however that makes you feel is totally fine and validated. I think. I mean, you know, as long as it does something to you where you want to listen again and you say, "Hey, I enjoyed that," or whatever. You know, like I'm all about it. So.
Yeah, you've been in several bands, all bunch of different genres, and you're doing your own thing. When you do a gig, do you ever like mix and match genres together?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm kind of a little bit all over the place. Especially because lo-fi hip hop is inherently like chiller music. So I try to get some stuff that's almost like kind of incorporating like some Motown stuff, that's some kind of like a little bit more upbeat. And then there's like, I don't know if you call it like funk or funk, it's PHONK. With everything on the internet, I always find myself missaying stuff. So I'm just going to spell it out so you guys can check it out. And that's like more like, it's still like got like chiller chord progressions and stuff, but like the beats are very trap oriented, and the like the bass lines are like real heavy and all that. It's kind of like gives it like just a little bit more hype of a vibe. So I try to incorporate that into my like live sets as well, just to kind of like not make it, not make it like, you know, completely like just one dynamic the entire time. Cause I think that's important to kind of like, even in an hour, just like take people on a little bit of a journey. Like, hey, we're going to start here and we're going to finish here. Like kind of like, and you know,
absolutely
not start somewhere and end at in the same place at the same, you know, kind of same vibe. So.
Absolutely. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I saw the band live, and for people not around in the '90s, they had one huge album.
They did,
and the album was all kind of like low, kind of borderline crying while smoking type music.
Yeah, totally.
And
such was a lot of the music in the '90s. I feel like there's a lot of that. A little oversaturated, honestly, but that's cool.
The theme was apathy.
Yeah,
okay,
it was. It really was.
So live, very, very kind of smoking, crying music. So they did covers to kind of change it up.
Yeah, to liven it up a little bit.
I would have thought they had more albums since the 90s.
So, if they've been around, but hey.
Yeah, they played with Bush that apparently only remembers their 16th Stone album, so go figure.
Yeah, Bush had a little bit more than that. But
I loved Razorblade Suitcase.
Yeah, I remember Razorblade Suitcase now that you mention it.
Yeah, Mouth, Greedy Fly, and they even had a whole album just DJ remixes.
Oh, wow.
That was really cool.
That is cool. No, Bush was never my thing, but hey, you know, that's why we're here, to each their own.
Yeah. People are like, "Oh, you're a fan of Bush." Like, well, which one are you talking about? We're talking remixes. Now you've been remixing other people's stuff as well.
Yeah, I got one. I mean, it's doing decent on YouTube, but I'm actually wearing a Lil Peep hat right now. I remixed.
I was wondering. I see that symbol, two X's and a frowny face.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
is
a
that
Lil Peep.
Disturbed?
No,
no,
Lil Peep.
Little Peep. I like chickens.
Yeah, I like chickens too. Yeah, that one's been doing really well. It's just kind of like a lo-fi remix of Awful Things by Lil Peep. And yeah, I released that like early on. I think it was like January or February, and it's taken a little bit to really gain traction. But I think I just broke like 10,000 plays like a couple weeks ago. So
that's huge.
Yeah, that's actually the biggest song that I have. If you're just going by plays wise. Lil Peep has such a great following. I mean, it's weird how you can get, especially with, you know, artists that are dead, that have passed away. It's like, it's crazy how attached you can get to somebody, especially without ever meeting them. Like, I didn't even get into Lil Peep until after he passed away. That was kind of what put him on I knew about him, but he kind of put him on my radar. I was like, oh, this dude died. I should probably like just listen just out of curiosity. Right. And I'm not even going to lie. Like at first I was like, I don't really get this. And I listened to it a few more times because it was intriguing. And now he's one of my favorite artists, you know? It's crazy how like you can just get attached, like I said, get attached to someone just through music. And like,
Oh yeah.
almost like miss somebody that you never met before.
Yeah, and people do get a hype after they die, and there are those that
Definitely.
are morbid. They're like,
I mean, look at 27 Club and all that. You know, I truly
Absolutely.
believe in, you know, no disrespect meant to any of those artists. They're all amazing, but they are living in infamy partially because of that. You know,
Right.
you didn't have the chance for Kurt Cobain to do a country record and people be like, I'm not really like
I
into
would
this.
totally listen to.
I would too. But, you know, some people be like, this isn't Nirvana. Like, I don't, you know, this ain't punk anymore. Like, no, people grow up and they change their styles of music,
Yeah.
and that's totally fine. Like, you know, but, you know, also, yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to see those, you know, see the Doors today.
Right.
Well, you know, maybe they wouldn't be around. But
Janis
like, you know,
Joplin do a musical number.
who knows? Yeah, who knows where life would have taken them and where musical influences are constantly changing. I've
Right.
finally just landed on something that I feel like finally works, and you know, I'm going on 29 here. You know, like it took me a
You
long
say that
time.
like it's so old.
No, but
here
when
I
you
am
start
with a
ma-
wizard's beard.
when you start making music at 12. It takes you a little bit to get to where you need to go, you know, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm so old or like whatever,
Right.
but I'm just saying it is a long journey at least definitely for me to like find my niche and be like, hey, like this is something that I enjoy doing. And it works, you know, like, you know, I tried to do hype stuff and be that DJ with the long hair that like is like, you know, going crazy and playing dubstep and all that, but it just wasn't me, you know, like when it came down to it, I was like, dude, I was just producing like very mediocre tracks, and I don't want to do that. I want to produce stuff that I truly believe is good and that I feel like people can vibe to, and stuff that I feel like not everybody is doing out there too. Like there is a big lo-fi community, but especially like, I don't know very many people who are doing it in Detroit or anything like that. So
I'm unfamiliar with the term lo-fi. Can you? Could you tell me lo-fi? I'm like, okay, hi-fi is a thing
Yeah.
on a record player. What's lo-fi?
Oh, lo-fi. Yeah, I mean, it is low fidelity is where it
Okay.
comes from. You know, not all the stuff, like a lot of stuff has like vinyl crackle on it or like cassette, like warping on it, just to kind of give it that like that aesthetic to it. But yeah, I mean, it's really just generally like very chill hip hop.
Okay.
I honestly like say like, you know, people like refer to like boom bap or whatever, which is another like early style of hip hop. Like picture Jay Dilla. I mean, you're from Detroit. Jay Dilla is very like those chill beats. Like he's, to me, he's like the father of it to me. Like he definitely like really got that, like, we're going to make stuff chill, but still very entertaining and like just a great song to listen to. You can listen to a 6-minute instrumental and not be bored because it's just like, it's repetitive, but it's not, it's hard to explain, but it's a vibe, you know, it really is a vibe, you know? And yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, it's all the YouTube craze right now because like the beats to study to and all that. But like, it's just easy to listen to.
Listening to music while playing video games. I'll turn off the video game music sometimes, turn on the radio.
Yeah.
But we still self-consciously, it's still that video game music, and it kind of, people like it. I mean, I feel like that was a big thing with Aphex Twins. Like once I started buying Aphex Twins albums, I'm like, I'm not even playing a video game while I'm listening to this, but it's a thing, and it is just chill music, something.
Yeah, a lot of people use lo-fi for that, and that's awesome. For me, it's like, you know, I can listen to it while I'm driving. I actually don't listen to like a ton of lo-fi because I don't want to be too influenced by outside stuff. I want it to be my own.
Yeah, and you also don't get too sick of it.
Yeah, exactly. I really just listen to it when I'm like trying to pick out other stuff for like a set or something, like if I'm going to do a live show. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what's a beauty about it. Like, I mean, you can have a 6-hour mix and, you know, you can just turn it on and you can go to sleep to it. You can get ready to it.
6
You
hour
can-
mix. That's how we know we're beyond the age of physical
Oh
hardware.
yes, no, data is no longer an issue. You know, you can do a 6-hour mix and it's not even a big deal anymore.
10 hours.
Yeah.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
But you get what I'm saying,
Right,
right? Like, you know,
exactly.
it is music that you can do other stuff to. You can sit down and really like break it apart and listen into it. And it kind of invokes emotion in however you want it to. I mean, I feel like there's lo-fi stuff that makes you happy. There's lo-fi stuff that like you can listen to when you're sad or like, you know, just feeling down. I mean, it kind of it encompasses a little bit of everything. It's just like how you feel more than like how the music is sometimes, which I feel like is really cool. And I don't know, that's definitely something that I latched onto early on when I started getting into it. I was just like, this is something that like it's just, it kind of transcends to the person's individual experience as opposed to like me producing it and being like, this is what I want you to feel, you know, like this is what I'm trying to invoke out of you, which I feel like a lot of music is like that. And nothing against that kind of music. I'm just saying that that's one of the special things about the chiller lo-fi hip hop stuff, I think, is like it's more subjective to the individual listening.
People create their own story off of how they feel with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's really cool. I don't think there's a ton of music out there that does that. You know, I mean, like I said, I love metal music. I have like this new metal project that I'm working on and stuff, but like that's definitely like kind of music that's like, you are going to feel this because we're pretty much jamming it down your throat, you know, like it's heavy, it's ominous, you know, like all that stuff. Like I've never really like heard, well, I mean, there's some examples, but like, you know, yeah, it's just, it seems more forced as far as like the vibe of it, but that's like that's what metal is. And that's cool. Like I'm not knocking metal. I love metal. But yeah, lo-fi just kind of it's different in that way, and I feel like it's very unique in that it is more about the listener than it is about what the artist was trying to portray.
Right.
You know,
take lyrics out of the equation, and the mind can kind of open up a little bit more.
Absolutely, which is awesome.
And that's coming from someone that doesn't do any drugs, surprisingly enough.
There you go. Yeah, you heard it first.
So you started music when you're 12 years old?
Yeah, I started drumming when I was 10.
Okay.
So I don't know. 12 was just a shot in the dark when I actually started like maybe making music. Yeah, I mean, I started with a next door neighbor kid, and we were in, you know, we wanted to be the next Led Zeppelin, and then we wanted to be the next Guns N' Roses, and then that probably lasted until we were like 16 or 17. I just freaking loved Guns N' Roses forever. And then, you know, it turned into all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I've kind of been all over the map as far as music goes, but that's what's cool, you know?
And you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, but you did tell me one of the people that you had a band with when you're in high school was a son of a celebrity, and you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Yeah, no,
this
that's
is all
totally
about
fine.
you. So
yeah,
you
no,
could
it's
decide.
totally fine. I was in a band with Kid Rock's son for a little while. He's still out there making music. His name is Robert James. If you want to check him out, he's doing like more like pop stuff. Yeah, I mean, when we were a band, we were terrible. I mean, we were really bad, but it was a lot of fun because we would hang out. We would hang out there and like, you know, like I don't know, just get in trouble and be young teenage kids and like, you know, just being young and dumb and just doing stupid shit. But you know, like yeah, I mean, it was fun. But admittedly, we were terrible. Every one of us was not that good, and like you know, we just tried to throw it together and be like, we're gonna be the biggest ever, woo, you know. But yeah, you know, it's all good. But it's a learning experience. It was very cool to like have that experience and to like see someone who was on that level like doing it. You know, like I've seen somebody working on, you know, big production concerts firsthand and like been backstage and seen that, you know, which is cool. It's definitely like an experience I wouldn't take away for anything and like all that. But it is funny to like think about how we were like, oh, well, we're in now. And like being like, dude, we sucked. Like we were terrible. So. yeah, looking back, it's like, it's really funny, but you know,
Yeah, it's like, well, at least we're not the worst type of music to come out of that house. It's joking.
hey, I didn't say it.
No, you didn't say it.
It's okay.
It's
you know,
a joke.
We all
anyway.
have we're Michiganders. We all have our own personal opinions on Kid Rock. You either love them or you don't. Like I said, artists get too much into their political views. I'm not going to talk about that. So let's just leave it at that and move on, because like that's I'm putting my own foot in my own mouth here. You know, yeah, it's all good.
How was music in your house?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I have a half brother. He's never really, we've never lived together, but he was always in like, he's honestly had like a record deal since small time record deal, but like since he was like 16 years old. So he's 10 years older than me. So since I was 6 years old, my brother had record deals and was doing, small tours, local shows, all that.
Wow.
So I grew up with that. And, my dad, he plays guitar a little bit and sings and does all that, but always just like a big music nut, like just loved the Rolling Stones. I mean, he took me to my first concert. I think I was 12. Mm-hmm. We saw the Rolling Stones when I was 12 years old.
So like, my first concert at 12 was Gordon Lightfoot.
No, hey, Gordon Lightfoot is great though. That's another one of my dad's favorites, actually. One of the best folk singers ever, according to my dad. But yeah, so I got exposed to that, like, I feel like at a young age, and like, I mean, not many people's parents would just buy them a drum set at 10 years old and just be like, yeah, have at it.
You're right. I tried
2 years of just being terrible on the drums. It was probably so bad for them, but it worked out. I mean, I ended up being, I'm trying to stay humble, but I'm a decent drummer for sure. Right. Like I can keep a beat, I'm definitely, just would go home and practice for like, I used to get in fights with my parents because like I would come home and just want to be on the drum set, and they'd be like, you have to finish your homework first before you get on the drum set, because they would know if I got on it, I wouldn't get off until I went to sleep. Oh, wow. So I'd go home, do a couple hours worth of homework, eat, and then like 4 hours of drums a day. And that was it. That was my whole life, like
Logan, have you finished homework? I don't want to work. I want to bang on these drums all day.
Yeah, So yeah, literally. That was me, like that we got in arguments about just like how I had to do my homework first, because I wouldn't have gotten it done otherwise, because it was just drum, and then it was like, all right, time for bed, go to bed. It's good. I got a good workout and learned a cool, a cool skill at the same time. So,
oh yeah,
it's a lot of cardio,
Did you play any other instruments?
I play guitar a little bit. I always like say that very like haphazardly because I'm terrible at guitar. I want to play guitar. I should say that. I really want to play guitar. And I try, but I'm not that good. But I'm working at it. If you had to
suggest an instrument to start with, what would you say? If someone's like, I kind of want to do something music, do I start with drums because you learn like the main beats, or do you go with a guitar, or should I do like, I don't know, a triangle?
I don't think there's like a right or wrong way to start music. It's whatever kind of clicks with you. I'd say as far as like learning like music theory and keys and all that stuff, I'd say piano is probably the best. It's like a very visual instrument. You can see the sharps and flats right there with the black keys. You can see the natural keys with just the white keys, and like it definitely, like, the more you learn a piano, the more it makes sense. And you can make that translate to any other like instrument with notation, Okay. It makes it very like it's kind of like the basis of everything else, I feel like. So I'd say that probably piano, if you really want to get into music, piano is probably the best to start with personally, just because you can learn music theory very easily through that as well. So
yeah. I would say music theory is always interesting. I actually took music.
I'm terrible with music theory, so like I've just barely passed it in college, and like did all that. So and I still like it's more. I use my ear more than I use like being like, oh, I'm gonna figure out what this is in, what key this is in, or do that or whatever. Like I kind of just write stuff and then figure it out afterwards. But my ear doesn't lie to me though. I'm like, that sounds good. Cool, I'm gonna do that. So music's cool because there's rules, but there really isn't too. Like you can break them like wherever you see fit, as long as it sounds good and the end product is good. Like nobody gives.
Yeah. People
nobody
listen
cares.
to music as a part of a therapy.
Yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
And that's a great plug for Music Therapy, which is a show that Bonerwood's working on. I said his name's Bonerwood, who runs DV Radio. He's been working on the show Music Theory for a while. And if you want to learn more about that and all the other shows he's working on and that's coming out, go to dvradio.net. And along with therapy, I have to talk about the charity that Dysfunctional Veterans does, which is DV Farm. You can learn all about that at dvfarm.org, which is a rehabilitation house for homeless veterans. They do a lot of cool stuff there, and if you want to support them, you can always go to dvfarm.org and learn more about them. You can donate there, or if you don't have money like that, but you're buying stuff off of Amazon, you smiled on Amazon at no cost to you. You could pick and choose your charity, and our charity of choice, or my charity of choice, is DV Farm. So no cost to you, and a little bit of money goes to charity for you buying stuff that you're going to be buying anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Smile.Amazon is one of those things where, like, I'm not backed by Amazon, nothing like that. It's just one of those things where people are like, yeah, Amazon's a terrible company. Yeah, but people, it's like, well, whatever you believe that or not, do you buy stuff off of it? Only when I have to. Well, you smiled out Amazon. You won't feel as guilty about it.
There you go. No, I had no idea. And I'm going to start doing that for sure. Because why not? Like you said, I'm going to buy a bunch of stuff off of there anyway. So might as well get a little proceeds to charity. Why not?
Yeah, sometimes I feel a little bit guilty because when people ask me for like, "Hey, what do you recommend on this?" I look up the prices, and if I find the thing best on Amazon, I send them my link, which just happens to be a Smile.Amazon link and not normal Amazon. And it's like, wait, did I just have them donate my? No, I don't think they just donated my charity. Did they? I don't know. Speaking of recommending gear, you used to have a YouTube show.
I need to like
This is going
reboot
back
that.
years,
Yeah, no,
but-
I need to reboot that. I keep talking about it, and I've like been moving around and like not had a studio and all that. But yeah, I used to have a Gear and Beer audio podcast where I would, or not podcast, but YouTube channel where I would just review a piece of gear and then pair it with a beer, like a beer that I liked or whatever.
Well, now if you brought it back, it could be a podcast.
Yeah, we could do
you're
a
already on
podcast.
Spotify.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so that was fun. I didn't really get to do too many of them though, which is kind of a bummer. It was a great idea, and then I just never capitalized on it, which kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
should reboot that. I really should. I'm gonna hopefully start building a studio in my basement this year, or maybe next year. I don't know. Due to unforeseen circumstances,
Home ownership
yes,
stuff.
exactly. But maybe that would be a good place to start, and being like, hey, this is documenting building the studio would be cool.
You just walk right into Guitar Center. Like, hey, I'm looking at buying this. What kind of beer would you recommend? I got 6 different beers with me.
Yeah.
Which one would
Can
you
I
recommend?
just try all these and then maybe like take sips off of these beers and kind of like pair them together, do something like that. But yeah, no, that was a fun thing that I just didn't, you know how it goes when you're, like I just didn't capitalize on it enough. Like I wanted to do one a week, and then it just didn't happen.
That's tough.
Yeah, it just didn't happen, and then
It's not like just sitting in front of a microphone like, I'm just going to get a guest in here and then just hang out.
Yeah, totally. And like I didn't, I was buying all the gear myself too. So without sponsorship and all that, it got, it was not only a lot of work, but then it was kind of like a lot to like, music gear is not cheap.
No.
Even if it's just like a $75 guitar pedal, that's cheap on like in the audio world, and to do that once a week was just like, I can't do this, so that made it difficult. I do have a bunch of gear that I probably could review and do more stuff with now, but it is tough, especially without sponsorship, to like really keep that going, because especially in the audio world, it's like most people want to hear about the stuff that came out that week too.
Wow.
Like they want to be up on the newest thing.
I will say that's not always true, because I did microphone comparisons for a while, and it's been a couple years since I did one, and those still get I probably get a good amount of comments from
Nice.
those and questions.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Hey, when you did this, what?" It's like, this is 7 years ago. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
I don't know, but no,
my guess is, but I don't remember what I did 7 years ago.
it is interesting that you say that because I feel like my views weren't like the best. The interaction that you got from it was really good. There are a lot of people commenting and being like, hey, what's your suggestion on this? Or like, hey, oh, you messed this up. Like you said it was this mic or it was compared to this mic, but it's really closer in comparison to this mic or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, cool. Like,
and people don't
cool.
realize
The community was cool, for sure.
And people don't realize it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, oh, that's nothing to this, but why didn't you use this mic? Look up the mic they're talking about. Because that didn't come out yet.
Yeah, that mic didn't exist yet. Yeah.
Or
Totally.
that program didn't exist yet.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you should have used blah, 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 version 5. Well, version 3.5 was out when I made the video. So,
and I could afford version 2.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You work
exactly.
with what you got.
Yes, that's very much so. Yeah. I mean, especially when you're just doing it on your own, it gets tough. Man. I mean, it's not the cheapest world to be involved in by any means.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
Talking about working with what you got. What is a cheap workaround you did? It could be a concert. It could be a recording. It could be some kind of workaround that you had to do that you couldn't afford to do it the quote unquote proper way, which doesn't really exist.
Yeah, totally. I recorded for my brother's band, the Scrappers. They're a local Detroit band. They're kind of like, I use the term country very, very loosely because they're more like roots country than most people, but they're also very rock influenced, but not like pop country like a lot of people. I recorded them and I basically just had an 8-track recorder with me that I would bring out to their shows. So I was very limited as to what I could do. All the microphone vocals had to be summed into one channel and I had to mix them after that in within one track. And then the drums, I basically did overhead, snare, and a bass drum, and that's it. Where most people would be like, oh, we want to put some an extra one on the toms and do this and that, and
right.
I don't know if you'd really say it's the wrong way to do it or whatever, but
Miking
I had to
drums is for those that's never had to do it, and or me, someone that's done it but never been a drummer, so that's always fun.
That's another thing too. Yeah.
It's something that's probably one of the longest miking things because first you got to mic everything, you got where you start, and then comes the 2 hours of changing things up.
Yep, totally.
For those that don't understand how difficult miking drums are.
And this is a live show, so I'm just basically setting the mics, getting levels, and then they're they can't tell the crowd to wait while we check everything. It was just go. And then I just DI'd, mic'd up the guitars and then DI from the bass guitar. But it's probably one of the best recordings that I've ever done. I mean,
Really?
They're a great band. I'll tell you that. Part of it is just that they're a great band. And the microphone kit that I used for the drum set was under $100 for all 7 mics or whatever. And I only ended up using 4 of them. So that was really cool because it taught me that, yes, you don't need, number one, is your band good is the number one thing. If your band doesn't sound good, the fact is you're probably not going to, there's tricks and auto-tune and of course all that stuff. But excuse me. If your band sounds good, the end result is going to be so much better. And yeah, you don't need $10,000 worth of equipment to make a band sound good by any means, or a studio setting or anything. We were just in bars and bars doing different bars. Yeah, bars doing bar things, having drinks and just setting up microphones and just kind of rolling with it. And honestly, it is still to this day one of the best recording experiences that I've had. So that was super awesome, and like I'm so still very proud of like how that turned out.
So I want to make sure I didn't hear you wrong. You said an 8-track player or an 8-track recorder.
Yeah, it was an 8-track recorder that I just, did the single tracks out. And
I don't understand 8-track, the thing they used to be in cars.
Yeah, it's like just, it's like a physical recorder, but there's only 8 individual XLR inputs that you can put into it. So it's separated into.
I was thinking something.
Not
different.
like the cassettes of 8 tracks, but like an 8-track recorder. So you have
inputs.
8 individual tracks that you could put on. But I mean, that is what an 8-track was. You can mix stuff down to 8 tracks. Like.
I'm like, what's he doing with something for an 8-track? Like, oh no, 8 inputs. Oh, okay.
One of the guitarists in my band used to keep his, well, it's illegal now, so it's okay. But he used to keep his paraphernalia in an 8-track, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, well, it's my Crosby, Stills, Stash and Young 8-track." I was like, "Dude, if a cop pulls you over, they're gonna be like, what in the hell are you doing with an 8-track, bro? Like, why?" He's just a weird dude, but that was part of the charm of it. But yeah, Crosby, Stills, Stash and Young in the 8-track,
so
in the
funny.
8-track deck. I laughed every time.
That's so funny.
It was great.
I wonder if any of my cop buddies are listening to this. When you're promoting your music, what's something that you wish someone would ask you?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know. I haven't been asked too many things. Like, this is like probably one of the first like interview settings that I have. I feel like I became a producer, so I didn't have to like do this kind of stuff. Right. At the same time, and a drummer too, because nobody cares, like at the same time.
You have
like,
a lot of control.
Yeah, no, and that's the way I like it. I'm like, I always say like, I played hockey and I was the goalie, like, I always want that like very much like very like nothing can happen without you role, but also like kind of behind the scenes at the same time, like even like playing DJ, like doing DJ sets and stuff. Like it's a lot of fun and I really enjoy it, but like part of me is just like, I just want to make music and just like I'd rather be at home like just producing like a song sometimes. I don't know. I get social anxiety, so that's like new experiences are really weird to me, especially lately. So yeah, I've just been kind of like trying to come to grips with all that too, because I used to be really, really social, and now I'm kind of just like a recluse in a way. I have like my close group of friends.
Well, you're
like,
getting older. You have your own house now.
Yeah, I guess I just can do that, Like, yeah, I mean, part of me just wants to like sit at home and like make music and watch Netflix with my wife, Like, I don't know, like, seriously, I don't know. Yeah, the older I get, the more social anxiety I get, and yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing. So I don't know what people like. I would want people to ask me. Yeah, I guess I'd probably just say don't. As terrible as that is, like I just like a part of me is just
don't
like
enjoy
I don't
it.
really, yeah, like I don't really like. Just just enjoy the music. Like that's more important to me than anything.
And if you have something you need produced, let me know.
Yeah, I know. I'd love to work with you on that level for sure. Like if if anybody wants to make music, like I'm cool with that. I really enjoy working with other people and stuff. It's just like I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, social stuff like just gets to me now. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah.
How does social anxiety work when you're on stage, or doesn't it? You just need to block everyone out.
The last time I played a set, I was kind of lightheaded the entire time, and was just like kind of just had to roll with it and like drinking water and just being like, I hope I don't get like too lightheaded or anything. Like I had like a jean jacket on and I had to like take it off and like yeah, it was a little weird, but it worked out. Like it was a good set. Like I did well, so that was fun. But yeah, I just like I still get a little anxiety from it, and yeah, just new situations are weird to me now. But it's just
Well, you're constantly
Getting
changing
older.
things up.
Yeah.
I feel like you like the new situations.
Yeah, I guess I never want to be stagnant as an artist, so I
'Cause
guess
once
there's
you're
that. Like, yeah,
comfortable, then like if that lightheadedness wasn't there and that little bit of anxiety wasn't there, do you think you might become complacent?
maybe, and maybe that's it too. Maybe it's just I've got to find like a good balance, like medium of it, where I'm like in the sweet spot, because I feel like I haven't found that yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna play shows. I'm still gonna force myself into those situations, because I think that it is it's important to like put yourself out there, number one, and like just like if I am at a music festival or a show or whatever, and I'm out there doing that, most of those people probably haven't heard me before, so hopefully it's a way to like be like, hey, this is half of this set is original music. The last set I played, it was probably 85% originals.
Right.
So like that was really cool, because like I got to showcase like all my original music and like sprinkle in some other stuff that like people might know, like remixes of popular songs or whatever, so that was really fun. And like people like even like some people like came up and like chilled for a little bit and like checked it out, and that was really cool, and like showing people that. But yeah, I don't know, I'm just, the older I get, the weirder shit gets. And then I just got to figure out how to deal with it. And I'm still figuring that out. But hey, such is life.
I want at least one more story out of you. What's a reaction that you've gotten from someone? Maybe they never heard your music before, maybe they did. But when you're playing live, what's a reaction that just hasn't left you?
I mean, most people, I feel like, even like the first set I did is like Logan Law, a lot of these shows, it's like a lot of people playing like dubstep and house music and stuff. And I feel like they're just kind of like very much not floored in a way, but like they're just not expecting me to come and play what I'm going to play. And I remember like even like from the first song, when I like started like my first set as Logan Law and like doing the lo-fi thing, he was just like, oh hell yeah, like because he was just like, I don't think he was expecting it, and he was just like, yeah, like this is cool, like this is a vibe, and it's something that like nobody else is really like bringing to the table right now, especially in Detroit. I feel like there's just like there's so much electronic music going on, but there's really like, as far as I know, especially in that electronic scene, which is where like my record label Squad is mainly, and that's SKWAD, Squad Records. Check them out. But like, yeah, they're very much, there's a lot of house music. There's a lot of dubstep and like trap and stuff, and like that stuff is very much ingrained in the electronic scene. But like chiller stuff, and like especially like chiller hip hop doesn't really have a foothold, especially in the local like electronic scene in Detroit. So like for me to just show up and play that, most people aren't expecting it, and I'd like to think that most people are like intrigued by that, just because it is different, and it is, usually I'm like early on or whatever, so it's just like kind of like warming up the day or whatever,
right.
Which is fine. I'm not picky.
So getting that reaction,
yeah.
Now that is what I'm here for.
Yeah, totally. Like, and they might have not even known that they were there for that, and then be like, yes, like this is what I didn't even know this is what I was looking for, but this is what I'm looking for, which is super cool, and I really, really dig that aspect of it.
Especially now, like as I get older, I find myself going to shows later and later, because before I'd be like, okay, I'm going to be there when doors open. Now it's like, the main act's not going to be out till 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Totally.
So when you do get there early and you got an opening act that you never heard before, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I'm glad I came early.
Totally.
Okay.
And that's awesome. It's always like I love like experiencing like a band that I didn't really like know about, or like was like just that I didn't know about, or I wasn't expecting or anything, and being like, hey, like, you know what,
I'm glad
this is cool.
I skipped the nap.
Yeah,
this is
totally.
fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it is, and it's super cool. So that's probably one of like the things that I've definitely like latch on to live, is just like, even if I just grab a couple people that are like, wow, I wasn't expecting this, but I'm really into it, like that makes it worth it for sure.
Well, Logan, thank you for coming on. Go ahead and tell us again where people can find you at.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere. You can catch me at Logan Law Music. I'm kind of in between releases right now, but I am working with Toaden Records with some of their artists. I've mainly done instrumental stuff, but we're kind of getting into doing stuff with like the rappers and singers and doing some more vocal edits and stuff. So that'll be really cool. So check them out. Toaden Records Detroit. That's TITAN Records. And pretty much everywhere you can check me out at Logan Law Music. Logan Law Music, just like it's spelled and sounds and all that good stuff. Spotify, Logan Law, SoundCloud, Instagram, all that good stuff. So check it out. This has been really fun, and thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And if anyone feels like someone else can learn from this, go ahead and share it, and they can listen to Media Litter Sandwich on many podcast apps and Spotify and YouTube, because some people prefer to have a YouTube link.
Yeah, totally.
So there is a video version, or they could just listen to it while they go look at something else, because who wants to look at my face? Maybe they want to look at Logan's face. I don't blame them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed our discussion, and may the algorithms be in your favor.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.